Hi, everybody. I'm Joanna Stone, Editorial Director of the Retail AI Council. And if you're looking for one event that could define how you approach retail this year, this is it, eTail West. I have the utmost pleasure today of speaking with Lena Moriarty, who is the head of marketing for eTail. She's going to give you an insider's look at what's happening, what's hot, who's speaking, and why this event could be the catalyst for the next big thing in retail. Welcome, Lena. Great to see you today.
Thank you so much for having me, Joanna. I'm so happy to be here and talk about eTail.
So I have a couple of questions that I think our audience and members would be interested in learning a little more about the event. So thanks for doing this with us today. I want to start with AI. I mean, obviously, Retail AI Council, good place to start. I want to understand, because it's just moving so fast, we're talking to people every day about AI, but I want to understand about which speakers or sessions at eTail West really highlight how retailers are successfully adopting AI and driving results. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. And I know that I just want to kick things off. Thank you so much for having me. AI has been such a hot topic, and I think that such a huge trend will be in the year 2025 of everyone talking about AI in 2024 to people actually using it and implementing it. And we've really picked up on that trend, and so much so that people are really asking for more resources to be able to connect with one another about the topic. So on Monday, the pre-summit day to kick off eTail Palm Springs, we launched a whole track dedicated entirely to artificial intelligence. So it's the
Nice.
Artificial Intelligence Summit. It has a million, not actually a million, but a ton of amazing, amazing content, a ton of amazing speakers. We have, eTail veterans like Donna Bedford from Lenovo, and she's going to bring you through a panel with Target and Salesforce about how to crack the code for AI. So going through analytics to determine what's working, what touch points are actually kind of breaking out of this typical AI cycle, and where can we extract the data that gives us feedback to actually make changes and meet people where they want to be met. And I think that like something that we
Wow.
really, yeah, it's going to be so fun, and just using that to really hyper personalize the customer journey and the customer experience.
Okay, so let's stay on that topic. The big hot thing, because social commerce is just exploding. We talk to a lot of retailers. I don't hear a ton about social commerce, but because of everything going on with TikTok, I wanted to find out what you're working on, what you've noticed, and what's on the agenda that's sort of exploding relative to TikTok. What can attendees expect from eTail in terms of takeaways with social commerce and the panels you're hosting?
Yeah. So social commerce is so hot. So hot. If you're not doing it, you're missing out on a key channel to make money in the retail, experience. And something that we are seeing a lot of is using TikTok. Thank goodness TikTok is here to stay so far. We're
Yeah.
not going to miss out on that channel. But, how are people using it as a search engine? How is it an extension of search platforms? So we have a really great panel called TikTok is the New Search Engine at eTail, which is going to be super, super fun. And that has Shayna Rainford. She's the CEO of Baskin Lather. She's really big and upcoming beauty corporation. We have Ashley Talley from Zenni Optical, who's going to talk about how Zenni Optical is using TikTok. And then Liam Patterson, who's the CEO of Bidnamic, is going to also be on that panel, just talking about and unpacking and discovering how people are using TikTok to go and search for products, search for answers, and also the extension of relatable content and finding how to best use the product, even. And, how do you capitalize on that to push your customer down the funnel and to ultimately
Mhm.
open on TikTok Shop, to make money on TikTok Shop? And, we had a really great panel at eTail Boston last year with Melissa Young from Duolingo and Krista Lewis from Cakes. And they spilled so much hot knowledge on TikTok, hearing from Duolingo and Cakes themselves, which is just the queens of TikTok. And I could just expect an amplified a part two of that great session for Palm Springs. It's going to be really fun.
Okay, let's stay on that because with new insights and strategies that retailers need to learn, do you already have things put together about leveraging social platforms to boost engagement? It seems like everybody should be doing it, but not everybody is. Sort of to your earlier point, what can I expect at eTail around social? Let's say I'm never going to go on TikTok, but I want to learn more and see what everybody else is doing.
The great thing about an event environment is the sheer amount of content available. And at eTail, we have an entire track dedicated to social commerce and then a whole other day. So you can actually customize and pick from one of 7 tracks on day one and then another one of 7 on day two. So you really get to customize your event experience. And with the social commerce route for people who are focusing and wanting to dive deeper into that, we have a complete deep dive into the topic, exploring Instagram conversions. TikTok is a new search engine that is on that track as well. And then we also have different deep dives into how to make the most out of your user generated content. Which video
Oh,
platforms are working best for you? What technology is actually taking the video content and transforming it into something that is relating to conversions for your product, for your customers? So it's not so much of a surface level, but you could really take a next level and deep dive into what strategies are working and where maybe is room for improvement or room to recollect, reconvene, and speak with peers about where we could, you know, mess around to optimize what we're putting out to market. Uh-huh.
Lena, what's one session or format? Because I noticed a couple of different format options that you're doing, different, much different than other events that I've seen. But things like Cheers with Peers or Innovation Theater that you think attendees will really love and that you think will be like one of the most popular things at the event.
I think that Cheers with Peers is always a classic. Everyone loves to reconvene and have a nice intimate networking experience. But something that really is tried and true and means so much to me is the Women in eTail panel and networking. And the reason for that is it's just a very honest and unfiltered panel followed by networking conversation where we could ask questions about what it means to be a woman in the retail space, a woman in the retail industry. How do you deal with bosses? How are we aligning narratives to make sure that we're all feeling empowered? How are we lifting up women of color and making sure that they're equally heard and their voice is heard as well? And how are we having these honest conversations in the retail workplace to make sure that we are facilitating and providing change in the industry? And that to me is just always such an important part of the event and where real change and connection happens. And we have a great lineup this year. Kimberly Lee, the president of Women of Color Retail Alliance, will be there as well in the conversation, which we're so excited to have her, as well as Heather Wilberger from Vince. So she has participated in the past and she's been great.
It's funny because I have my notes, and on the side of one of my notes, it says career building question mark. I think you just answered it. So that's a big deal because a lot of retailers are either looking for new jobs, changing jobs, or looking for somewhere to go. So talk to me a little bit about careers and what happens at the event from a networking standpoint. I bet a lot of people connect and do a lot of great networking.
Actually, another element of that Women in eTail panel is Amber Jackson is the CEO of Hype and Harvest. She's leading a career building workshop to follow
Ooh.
it. Yes. So she'll be having a career building workshop where you can get hands on to talk about how are you crafting, how are you positioning yourself in the market, how are you connecting at this event to make the most out of the event experience and to take your career to the next level. We do so much research in the industry, so much industry research, and we find that over 90% of marketing leaders are looking to connect face to face with people in the industry, looking for the same struggles and strategies that they're going through. And who are you meeting that's going to give you that next open door experience? Who are you meeting that's going to really, you know, start to pave the path for the rest of your career? And I think that that's the opportunity at eTail that is so important. And that's really our bread and butter. How can you meet the people that you need to meet to level yourself up and set the trajectory for the rest of your career? Um, and with that,
Wow.
that's yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's where you hear people like Angela Sue, and she's the former CMO of Bed Bath and Beyond. And she's been coming to eTail for 20 years and has been coming
Wow.
and has met some of her biggest connections. You have Rose Hamilton, the CEO of Compass Rose. And these are people who have had e-tailers come and met people that then have led them to build the pillars for the rest of their career and have set them forward for the rest of their career. And I think that that's what it's all about. And that's why we actually have launched our eTail newbies, which is so fun for people who are looking to dip their toe in the eTail verse. We definitely respect that it can be a little bit scary coming to an event for a first time. How can we
I'm
make
sure.
our eTail newbies is ability to connect with other e-tailers who are attending for the first time and to unpack, say, what brought you here for the first time? This is what brings me here. This is what I'm looking to get out of it in an unfiltered, unbridled environment where we can just connect, put down our guards and say, here's what I'm dealing with in the industry, and here's where I would like to be in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years.
If I was going and I didn't know anyone, what a nice way to feel confident that first day walking in, meeting other people. You're creating networking for people who have never been there before. That's incredible. I mean, you already thought of it all, but that's really great.
Exactly, exactly. And there's power in numbers, and there's power in a pack. And we definitely understand what it means to come to an event with someone there. It's a little bit easier to divide and conquer. There's so much content going on. So, how can we help you divide and conquer?
Okay, last question. What's one unexpected insider trend you think will leave attendees talking long after the event is over?
So much exciting stuff. We actually have a big special announcement coming up over at eTail, which, if you come on site, you could stay tuned to hear from it. But one thing that I think that attendees will really leave talking about is from a sheer power of community perspective, how there really is strength in numbers when it comes to the retail verse. And coming to an event together, a community built event where the content is built by retailers for retailers, or by e-tailers for e-tailers, I should
Yeah.
say. Um, there really is strength with having all of that intelligence in one room and being able to rely on each other to circulate and to connect and to have that community to lean on. So I think that they will feel so fulfilled with that. But from a shocking, really content perspective, I think that Philip Jackson from Future Commerce has a great presentation on monoculture and just how everything kind of comes together with differentiation, which could be a really fun keynote session. So I would encourage everyone to check it out.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Great advice. Well, it's been wonderful talking to you. Just to remind everyone, eTail West is happening in Palm Springs, February 24th through the 27th. There'll be a registration link underneath this video for you to click on and get yourself there. I do understand the event sells out, so I suggest that you do this as soon as possible. And Lena, I cannot thank you enough for your time today. We deeply appreciate your time, energy, and effort in making this an incredible event for retailers. Thank you again.
So much. I appreciate it. Hope to see everyone there.